when the mouse ran through like that.
And then they started singing.
Oh.
They got to the moonlight and started singing, not from the mouth, but from the extremity.
And started talking like you got no teeth in. Right.
But at least you're not spilling water with the. Oh man.
Is that recording?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect.
You can't jump right into it. Nah, you can't jump into it yet. You said it's a recording.
Yeah, you broke character. Now we gotta start all over. What are we talking about again?
This is gonna be a great episode.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Alright, say that.
Alright. But hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm here, Pre. You got my co-host here.
See, Griffey, it's the Griffiest.
And Mr. Stereotypical right over here.
And today, I don't know. We might do things a little differently today. What's on your mind? What's on your minds, guys?
What's on your mind?
You see it sipping. Alright, so anyway. Let's get into it. So
Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Now, there's been it's been a little bit of a crazy start to summer, like as we're transitioning, weather changing, all of that. But
it's getting cold outside. I'm gonna have to cut that. I thought I wanted, but that was for something. I'm gonna have to get that because it makes it with the bumba.
But yeah. But no. Along with that though, it's been a shift in ambition. Like lately, everybody's been feeling like they've been overworked and all of that, and it's been. I feel like it's been a lack of ambition going on.
Right.
Now, what would you guys say that there could be causes to this? Like, would you say it could be the weather? Would you say it be situations? Is it things that we're doing that could cause that? Like, what you think?
I think one factor, I'm going to say one factor, and I'm just going to pass them on because I have a bunch of factors. But, my one factor, I'm going to say is it's summertime. It's getting to summertime, you know what I'm saying? So people, they want to be outside. They want to see. They want to go out. They want to go to the beach, go to the clubs, hang with their little guys, do whatever they got to do. And people just they don't want to delegate their time to hustle and flow, you know what I'm saying? People don't want to delegate their time to getting that money. So what they want to do is just have fun. And when you just sit back and have fun, you're going to go burn through your cash, burn through your stack. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh, wait, I want some more money so I can go outside. Or you just feel like staying in the crib because you done burnt yourself out from being outside. So then now you're in an endless loop of being outside and not stacking up no cash. So, laziness.
Your take?
Facts. I actually want to piggyback off of that. I feel like lack of ambition, I feel like that comes from just the constant thing of, oh, I need sleep. I'm going to put that off to tomorrow. But the thing is, tomorrow don't always come. And the issue with that is that you always want to find a way to level up.
That got morbid real fast. Not always come.
But it's true. Like, I agree with it. I agree with it. That's a great point though. You might go to sleep and wake up dead.
Like, wow.
Because see, back in school we had this thing I used to read, and he used to always say that you want to live every day to the fullest of your ability. And a lot of us we just be living it halfway, and it's you can't do that. If you don't give it your all every single time, then you always going to cheat yourself. And if you're cheating yourself, then of course you're lacking. And I feel like my thing is, if you're not constantly doing something to add to yourself, then what are you doing for? You're not growing, you ain't doing nothing, which means you're stuck. That's at least this thing called complacency. Now, for certain people, it can be cool or whatnot, but the problem is complacency it's just that complacency. You were stuck in one constant state. The constant state of mind is a matter of fact, and there's no movement. And if there's no movement, then what are you really doing with your life? That's the real question today. And honestly, like you were saying, y'all want to go out here and go out to the beach and we outside, cool. All right, cool. We'll also be in the library, read a book, understand something new. Find a way to increase what you already got.
Read a book.
He hit y'all with the educational standpoint. He said, make sure you get your IQ up.
Yes, the shirt is not just for show.
No, but I absolutely agree with that. That's a great point.
I'm talking about getting money. He said read a book. That's a good point.
Listen, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Knowledge is definitely power.
What?
So, now with that being said, do you feel like there's any other causes besides that? Like, there has recently been like a surge in like
laziness.
Definitely laziness, but could we say that could be caused by the use of alcohol or like marijuana and stuff like that? Because if you notice, there is literally everybody smoking. Like, everybody smokes, everybody drinks.
Everybody puff pass and don't really want to pass.
Everybody sipping on something. Mm-hmm. Especially Don Julio. It's a Don Julio.
It's a Don Julio.
I know I definitely got me a bottle waiting on me, but still.
But listen, no, I think that's definitely a factor for sure. Like, y'all become too reliant upon the inebriation side. You know what I'm saying?
Make it fun.
Y'all be like, oh yeah, I'm just here for a good time. I just want to have fun, blah, 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 blah. But then y'all not doing nothing else besides having fun and getting lit. Like, yo, like he said, read a book. Like, sit down, learn something. Like, I feel like because everything is accessible to people at a certain age, then they choose to jump and go overboard. And then now you got people that's like, oh yeah, I'm 27 and I don't really drink like that. I don't really smoke like that. I did that when I was younger. Yo, you just started to experience life for real. You didn't even touch 45 and you talking about, I done did all that. Man, shut up. I don't want to hear none of that. But that's the laziness, because it's like, you feel like you experienced life at an early age. You didn't really do nothing yet. There's still a whole bunch of life to live. And because you had this accessible to you at a point in time, early on, you took it overboard. And then now you're like, oh, I just don't feel like doing nothing. I want to sit back and shit.
And honestly, I want to add to that. I feel like that is true. Alcohol really is a dangerous thing, because a lot of people, underage drinking, it's such a known thing. And the problem is, alcohol can grow you up before you even realize it. Because what happens is, at first you start throwing up and whatnot, and, you don't like what's going on. But the more and more you do it, the more accustomed you become to it. And that's how that mindset of complacency starts. You just get used to staying in that same routine. And it's one of those things where it's just like, you really can't do that. And the thing is, as someone who is definitely a victim of this, sometimes you drink alcohol to escape what's actually happening in life. Mm. Because it's that wall that's there. It's the mirage that never goes away, which why a lot of people drink, half the day. So I feel like a lot of people, the thing you want to practice for real, is being able to have like that balance. I'm not telling you to give up alcohol, absolutely not, because I do it too. But it's the fact of the matter is finding a way to not allow it to become your life, because once it becomes your life, then you no longer have a life.
Now, adding to that, right? Could living that lifestyle in moderation, like, could that be a way to actually help out with it damaging your ambition?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Because anything in moderation is technically what they say a good thing for you. It's not everything, but in moderation is better. Because look at this. If you overdo anything, then your system's going to go into shock. If you underdo anything, your system could go into shock. You know what I'm saying? You have to find a happy medium. So, moderation, you drink on occasion, you smoke on occasion, you go out and party on occasion. Imagine you doing this every single day, every day of the week, 365, 7, 8, 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's drawing. You know what I'm saying? How do you even get yourself up in the morning and be like, hey, I'm about to go hit the club. Let me hit this real quick. Oh, I need a shot till let me say, and then you go out, I hit the club, and then you party until 6 a.m. in the morning, then you go to sleep at 7, and then you wake up at 12 just to go repeat the cycle again. That's draining, man. And then I wouldn't have no ambition to do nothing either. I just feel like I just want to sleep the day away. But if you do it in moderation, like, oh yeah, every other weekend or so, or once a month or so, cool, go out, have a good time, link with the guys, go out with the girlies, y'all have your little nights out, boom, bop, bam, have a great time. And then you're going to enjoy the moment even more. If it's happening all the time, you're not going to enjoy it as much.
That's why it's called rare.
All right.
Absolutely. Now, in regards to chronic, because I feel like that's a little bit more common now than alcohol, because at one point, alcohol had that leg up. But due to legalization now, chronic is everywhere. You got a lot of shops and places like that where it's like people just, you can find it anywhere.
Right.
So, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, like, in terms of what? Like, having it everywhere or, like, the use of it?
Now, the use of it in moderation, too.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
is it, also, to add another question on that, is it easy to moderate that, too?
Yeah. What? Man, see, here's the thing. Chronic? Yes. What? Okay. I guess it's easier said than done, but it is. It is, because I say this, when you indulge in anything, you need to have a grip on it. If you do not have a grip on it, it's going to overtake you. You're using it, don't have it use you. You know what I'm saying? So, when you use or do certain things, I'll say, make sure that you're, like, monitoring your input and your time off from it. Treat it like a job. If you know what I'm saying, monitor how many times you are there, how you clocked in, you clocked out. Sometimes it's OT, and sometimes OT don't get approved. And sometimes you need to realize you need to go on vacation, and sometimes you need to really take advantage of your days off. So, with that, move on.
Facts. And I honestly agree with that 100%. But I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
See, it's easy to have a schedule like when you have like a level head, right?
Right.
Because you know what it means to actually time management.
Right.
Okay. I'm bad at that. Let's be real.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like when you're someone who's like constantly depressed or trying to like not live in the world, then you turn to things like pseudo happiness, like alcohol and chronic.
Right.
Because what happens is it puts you in that headspace of like a temporary happiness. That's why it's called a high. That's why it's called a high, because you are on a level that you think you could actually get to by yourself. And then what ends up happening is you depend on that thing. Okay, cool. I'm chilling. Maybe if I do another puff here, then maybe this might last for this long. But the issue with that is it becomes a crutch. And by it becoming a crutch, then it starts using you, not using it.
Now, I like that. And that's very true. But to flip things over, could that also... Oh, shit. Don't worry about that. But could that also cause people to actually have a boost in ambition instead of lacking ambition? So instead of going all the way back, could that cause them to go all the way forward?
Repeat the question.
Ooh. Nah. But,
what's up? You don't want to cut
but no. Instead...
He challenged you to a debate on the spot.
Could that cause you to have a boost in ambition instead of lack of ambition?
Can what have a cause?
Alcohol or chronic?
That's
either use in moderation or not use in moderation. Because there are a lot of alcoholics that I have seen that could do way more than somebody that's just sober 24/7. But there are also a lot of people that are sober that can't do nearly as much as a quote unquote crackhead. We about to really make it explicit and really controversial.
Okay.
Keep this in mind. Crack in the 90s and the 80s, apparently, I wasn't around at the time, but people would like...
No, professionals were using them Jones. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
They was going to work. Professionals was using them Jones.
Actually,
so here's the thing. You got a point, and I agree. I also feel as though I already answered the question. Sorry, Griffey. Griffey answered the question, especially when he said moderation. But I also feel like, yeah, okay, cool. Those people go ahead and they're drinking a high function or whatever. But what you gonna do when them hospital bills come? Because your liver is gone.
Okay. So
now,
let's divide this. So we're talking about the usage of it now, and if it's in your case saying it can make you more productive, and then in your case less productive, right? Am I stating the terms right? Okay. Boom. We got a debate. Let's get it. All right. Go.
Okay. So I do think that chronic, not alcohol, but chronic could definitely... Actually, no. Both. Because alcohol is liquid courage. Keep that in mind. So whatever you're thinking, it gets that boost. You're going to do it regardless. If you're drunk, high, now it could definitely cause a lack in ambition, but it could also cause a boost because it could reset you, depending on what you got going on in your mind.
Reset button.
Exactly. Especially if your mind is clogged. And if your mind is already empty, and you decide to smoke, different story. It might just cause you to just be like, let me sit back and relax. Let me actually take my time.
Right.
And taking your time could actually lead to that lack.
Right.
But I do think personally it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
It could either or could boost you or it could cause you to lack.
Right.
It just depends on your moderation.
Right.
Indeed. And I agree with that. But it also goes back to what I said before. Pseudo happiness. You going ahead and you taking this and it raise your ambition and change how you think about the world. But what are you doing for you?
Don't agree with them. You're debating them.
Listen, it's hard to disagree with somebody who's right.
He has a point. He has a point.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, that pseudo happiness is causing you to get better in life. So regardless, if you get to that point where you're already doing better in life, cause from that pseudo happiness, you could just stop right then and there if you really had that willpower.
Not true.
That's very true.
Because that's the issue. Because it's the lack of willpower is why we have this issue.
But not everybody has that lack of willpower. Not everybody does.
Well, of course not, but we're talking about the majority right now.
Yeah, and the majority is not everybody having that willpower, but a lot of people do. Especially when it comes to stuff like weed and alcohol. Alcohol, different story. It's many different speculations around it. We're not going to get too deep into that.
Right.
But when it comes to chronic, different story. It's literally been scientifically documented that you can't really get addicted to weed, but a lot of things that people don't know, you can get addicted to the wraps. So a lot of people that smoke weed a lot, they get addicted to smoking the backwoods, smoking the sweet woods. Now there are people that smoke papers and things like that, and they can just stop anytime.
But you got to also understand though too, you got to really address it for what it is: self-regulation.
You might have got me there.
That's what it is.
House.
And
House. You might have got me there. Gotta shake on that.
And you gotta understand that, like, yeah, okay, cool. You don't get addicted to the thing itself, but you get addicted to the feeling that you get from it. And I feel like that's what a lot of us is constantly chasing. We're chasing that feeling. But the issue is, what do you do when that feeling's gone?
So that's like you saying that's a dopamine response.
That's a dopamine high.
That's a dopamine
high.
Thanks, Professor Robbins.
But wait,
listen.
But what do a lot of people do when they lose that dopamine high?
Because
they find ways to chase it.
But wait. You see, the thing is, when people lose the natural ability to supply and make dopamine themselves, they go back to use substances which will replenish that dopamine, but they rely too much upon those substances. Their brain can't actually make it itself.
Which creates substance abuse.
Yeah, definitely. Now that's leading to substance abuse and gateway drugs. Now, we're not going to get too deep into gateway because there are a lot of gateway drugs that could lead to that, but there are also a lot of gateway drugs that aren't necessarily gateway. It also causes you to really think, like, all right, if mushrooms is like this, I wonder what ecstasy is like. But keep in mind, ecstasy is man-made. Mushrooms are not.
Right. So let's narrow it back down, right? So you're saying in the use of such products, alcohol and chronic, we're gonna stick on topic. It can lead to a more productive mindset and abilities, right? List me 3 cases of why it can, and then for you the opposite. List 3 cases and why it can.
I think we already did that.
No, I'm saying give me 3.
I thought we did.
No.
How about you do it?
You want me to do it?
I do.
Okay, I'll do both sides. That's a challenge. That's a challenge.
Come on.
Okay, look.
We're all flexible here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Listen. For one side.
Black Jesus.
Yeah, you better understand.
Jesus.
For the one side and the productive use, when you're using alcohol or chronic, one, that can increase how you work in your own household. Meaning, if you want to be more cleanly, you can clean the house more. A lot of people using chronic, especially, they become more focused. They want to clean more. 2, they become more focused with schoolwork. A lot of people that are in the use of chronic, they become more focused and they get higher grades. Fact. 3, when it comes down to people going out and working in their field. Now, I'm saying in the field that is actually allowed to, you can be somewhat under the influence. People are more focused in their field. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not going to try to lead back to that, but in the 80s, people were under the influence and they were going to their jobs and performing at better abilities than people that were sober.
Even today, for example, a lot of engineers, a lot of mechanics, especially mechanics, they always smoke. There's a lot more weed smokers when it comes to mechanics than there are a lot of alcoholics. But recently, not to get too political or anything, Elon Musk, for example, he's under fire right now.
Okay.
But he does have alleged drug abuse situation going on. But look at the mastermind that he is. Regardless if it's bad or good, he's in a way higher spot than a lot of people.
Right.
Off of that drug abuse. Because it opened up so many gateways and things to bring.
But did it make it right?
But hold on. And I gotta get my counterproductive side. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get
that
side. Let me finish that point because I was challenged.
Two-Face?
You know what I'm saying? Alright, so on the counter side, on the opposite side of that spectrum, one, usage of it can be counterintuitive to you because in some cases, people become a lot lazier. People under the influence of alcohol especially choose to sit back, relax, and they can't focus. You know what I'm saying? Let's apply that. Let's go to school. You know what I'm saying? If people are in school and you're lit in class, you're going to be like this, trying to look at the teacher, trying to understand what they're saying. You're not really going to receive that information. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the second side of that, a second point. Now, if you go out and let's say you're high or you're under the influence or whatever the case, and you go out, imagine trying to focus on a specific task that has clear instructions. Not the instructions that you have set into your mind, but the instructions that was given into the format which was laid out to you. You know what I'm saying? So, for that, let's say developing blueprints. You know what I'm saying? You have to put the keys and tools and parts together on that. Let's say you're building something. Let's put it down simply as that. You're building something. You're making something. Because it can be assembled multiple ways and you can find a way to build it this way, but the instructions say lay it out this way, you're not going to be able to focus directly onto the instructions, but more so getting the task done. That's why it's kind of like it kind of balances out there. Because like I said, you can focus on getting something done, but you may not go with the layout. You may not have the patience to go with the layout because you're under the influence. Now, my third point to that is going to be simply back to the job reference thing as well. Because some people, especially, it's leading back. If you're under the influence, you can't perform at the high functionality that you need to at certain jobs. You will not be able to lock in completely to do what you need to do. For example, surgeons. A surgeon cannot drink and then go into the lab and be able to perform a cardiology, whatever. You know what I'm saying? A cardiomyopathy. You know what I'm saying?
So you coming at me now? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't fully lock in when you're under certain, you know what I'm saying? So, 3 points, bam, I laid it out. I'm kind of intuitive.
So, with that being said, can we just lead it back to... Because the way it's looking like it's a stalemate. Can we agree that it's a stalemate? Because if you think about it, it's definitely based off of profession. Right. There are a lot of...
So, let's leave it up to you guys.
That's the thing, though.
What do you guys think? Can usage of stuff be productive, more productive, or less productive? I'm going to hear y'all.
We never, ever said that either one of us was wrong. It was just the fact of the matter that people depend on it too much. That was the original point. We got away from that, but it's cool. I love when we get on our little tangents. But my thing is, the hardest line I feel like people miss, I can stop anytime I want. Lie.
You got a point. We can both agree on that.
That is
the realest. That is real.
I said that. I can stop anytime I
want. Well, let me say this. Let me say this.
I'll take your time.
Let me say this. When you're saying I can stop anytime, you have to speak from a standpoint of someone that is not under an addiction.
Correct.
We cannot say that for the entire majority of people that is a fact. Because if I say I want to stop having a drink, or I want to stop smoking, I'm at free liberty to stop doing that. Case in point, that's been done. But for someone who's under addiction, it's going to be a lot harder. But then there are still some people that need that assistance to go through that process. They can't stop anytime they want, but they have to rely upon an institution or someplace, you know what I'm saying, or a group to help them get through it. But in a lot of people's cases, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the everyday person, they can just stop, you know what I'm saying, that normal routine or that routine that they're starting to build. I'll see that.
Okay.
True.
Yeah. True. Got a point with that. I just think it's the situation and what exactly is the substance. Mainly. Because I feel like with chronic, it's mainly mainly the wraps. Like a lot of people, like I said,
Smoke, have papers.
Yeah,
Papers.
Papers definitely is the quickest way for you to be like, all right, I can stop this anytime I want. Because if you smoking on backwoods nicotine, it literally says, you know, heart problems, all that stuff. It's literally the same shit as you smoke cigarettes.
Listen,
right. No cap.
It's cigars. It literally says cigarillos.
Yeah, there's no real difference between you, like, I mean, if you having pure chronic with paper, there's no real addictive sedative to that. Like, there's nothing to that. You know what I'm saying? But if you put it with something that has an addictive substance in it, then it's like, oh, yeah. I don't know why I can't stop hitting this.
Now,
well, if you read the back of the label on the paper, it kind of tells you.
Now,
I mean, if you don't like yourself, that's also another.
That's true. But now, also, this might counteract my argument, but at the same time, it's all about your personality. If you have an addictive personality, that's a problem on you. Because if you already know you have an addictive personality, what are you doing messing with an addiction?
Right.
That's your problem.
But then it gets back to the fact of, I'm totally in control.
You're not. It becomes you in control until you let it control you.
Yup.
You know what I think it is? It's honestly people trying to punish themselves with happiness.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I totally think it is. Like you try to get away from whatever you feeling. You try like in case when we come back to talking about feeling like we're not worthy of something. You know what I'm saying?
I just said that. Yeah, real.
I'm saying it's like feeling like you're not worthy of something.
Yep.
You try to like punish yourself, but that's a dopamine release. That's automatically going to make you feel better, feel happy. That's going to help you. You know what I'm saying?
As they say in psychology, the nucleus accumbens is the pleasure system of the brain.
Yeah.
We're not getting back into that. We're not going to do that.
Listen, I got a shot for Professor Rivers. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Shout out to physics. Physics and biology.
That's hilarious. I wasn't going there, but okay.
Yeah. He was in psychology.
He was in psychology. He was somewhere else with it, though. It's okay.
No, it does take a little biology, too, though. No, it do. It do. Fuck what they talking about. I took AP biology. I know what I'm talking about.
Nerd!
I was in that class with you. That has nothing to do with what we're talking
at
about.
all.
It does, slightly, but we're not going to get too deep in there.
I took bio as well, trying to say. But,
yeah.
But, nah, seriously, though, just to get back to the point ahead. Exactly. And I feel like you made very valid points about the fact that people who, like, perform better. But then you also have to understand why they perform better. For example, I'm going to get a little personal here. I am somebody who has a lot of different abilities. Like, I'm skilled in a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is I can't get out of my head.
Right.
But once I drink or smoke, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But
so I can just do what I'm already good at.
Right.
No, but
you're an overthinker too. That's the other thing. That's the you gotta count for that.
I am an overthinker.
It calms down the voices.
It calms down the voices. That's true. Yeah. But the point of the matter is, yeah, okay, cool. It is helpful, but it's also harmful at the same time because it's like, again, I'm not doing this for myself.
Very true.
It's not being created from me. It's being created by another substance. That's really it.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if you have to depend on a substance to be a better version of you, then who are you really?
Right.
I think that all depends on yourself. Like if you're willing to take that time to find out and figure out who you are,
soul search.
So searching.
We can really go back to the
ego test, bro. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you.
Forever, y'all should definitely check that episode out because we're not gonna get into it on this episode, but check it out. You'll understand more about it.
We spoke
but
facts.
As of right now,
no cap.
Getting into that, it's more sort of a soul search thing when you get to finding out who you are. But I will say that addictions and things like that will help you with finding out who you are. It just depends on what you're going into. And I'm not going to say, I shouldn't say addiction, but I should say habits. Because there are a lot of people
I can rock with habits more.
Yeah.
I'm about to say addiction is
kind of crazy.
Addiction is crazy.
But habits for sure. Because you can not smoke weed your whole life, and then the first time you touch a blunt, it just changed your whole viewpoint on everything that you thought was right. The whole time that's being wrong.
Yep.
Because of what you were taught. But now, you smoke that L for the first time, you actually start using your common sense. That's all it's about.
Facts.
Since ain't always that common, though, that's the issue.
Oh yeah, common sense is not common.
No, like we're not even gonna start there.
Listen, my mom used to have this joke that not everybody was aligned when God gave our brains. I'm just saying.
No cap.
That's a good one.
No cap.
My daily is common sense ain't common because it's not.
It's not.
Like it's not, especially when you're in traffic. Traffic is the most. It's literally exact example of using common sense. You need common sense in order to drive the car.
No cap.
It's really easy to get a license as long as you know common sense.
Right.
That part.
No,
but,
like really, if you one of the people that go through life and think that 1 + 1 = 22, I really have an issue with you because like that is like the most bothersome thing to me. Like,
I mean, if you see a double on both sides, I can understand.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying, like, people that really just take everything super duper out of context.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, if you're going in a straight line, if you got to go from point A to point B.
How did you get over there?
Yeah. Why are you in East Bubble Lip? You know what I'm saying? And you got to be here. That doesn't make any sense to me. If the GPS on your map, on your CarPlay, says go straight, and you bang the left, why? There was no detour.
This is why you should not be smoking or drinking while driving because you're gonna think in the movie how high.
No, just please practice common sense.
That's a point, but I also think
just practice common sense.
It goes back to the up here.
It do.
If you're an overthinker, should I turn left? Should I turn right? Which way should I go? Should I
Listen to Google
Maps? Should I let them
Maps.
know I'm here? No. You smoke or drink? Now, some people have to. I hate to say it, but
use Google Maps.
We're not encouraging DUIs either, or DWIs,
Please,
none of that. No. But there are a lot of people that might need to smoke while they're driving because their anxiety is through the roof. So
it calms them down.
Yeah. They turn left, they might cause an accident. They turn right, they cause an accident. Oh, that car is coming out of that parking spot. Let me speed up. But if they smoke, they might catch it beforehand because it's like, all right, I'm slowing down. I'm calm. I'm going to speed limit. There might be a cop right there. It might raise my anxiety just a little bit, but I'm doing good. Let me drive normal.
I feel as though there should be a closed study, like there should be a case study or something about, like, do some type of experiment where people, you have a group of people who are under the influence while driving. Let's say weed. Let's say chronic. Let's stick strictly to that because people under the influence of alcohol can't drive. Let's say people under the influence of chronic versus the people that are sober, and run that experiment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gonna have like independent variables and everything in that joint to see if under the influence of chronic specifically does impair your driving. I want to see that full study, and then if it shows that being under the influence does not really affect your driving, or it makes your driving ability even better, maybe legalize that.
No.
So, real quickly.
Answer it.
I do agree with the study, but I feel like it's also, you got to understand both things have different effects, right? When you drink alcohol, your motor and cognition is off.
Right.
Entirely. You can't fake that because your arms are going this way. It's like wearing silly goggles.
Right.
So, straight ain't straight.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why that's not part of the study. Just have chronic.
Yeah, but like chronic itself, though, for certain people, it can either make you sleepy or energize you. It depends on what you're taking it for.
Right. Now, if you got the hallucinogenic joint,
you should be driving.
Get out the car and walk.
Get the hell out the car.
Yeah, no.
Just
don't even walk. Don't even go nowhere.
Yo, like, call a friend.
Maybe there should be a strain that's specifically set for focus.
No. Now, going to what you said about the testing. I think that as far as the testing, I don't think that it should be sober versus non-sober. I think it should be strain-wise. Because when it comes to marijuana, it's a lot of strain-based things. Like,
let's talk about the strain.
Somebody who's include the sober, too, because
the biggest
impact is that people don't think that you can drive under the influence of chronic.
You do. You're right. But at the same time, you're not going to have the same results of somebody smoking Gorilla Glue as they would be smoking Skittles or Jack Harrow or something crazy.
Right. Okay.
Because Gorilla Glue, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be going straight down the same block the whole time.
Is it the strand or is it what it's laced with? Because the majority of the strands are the same. If you think about it, it's just a different name.
Not really. No, not at all. It's kind of breeding humans when it comes to that. It's a recessive gene. It's a dominant gene.
Whoa.
It's what you're getting for. It's literally what you're getting out of this strain
when
the strain is created. But yeah.
Wait, I do have to talk about this before I lose my train of thought. You mentioned something very powerful before, and I feel like it was missed. Soul searching. That is a very big thing, but I feel like before you can soul search, you need to prepare yourself to be okay with being broken. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. When you soul search, you are going to basically see how you thought your life was supposed to be, and everything's going to fall apart. And you're going to finally start putting it back together the right way. And kind of go back to what we talked about before, not being afraid to start over. And I feel like that right there is where it ties back to lack of ambition, the fear of starting over. Everybody is just so used to staying where they are, and it's like it's easier to be where I'm at than do this. Everybody rather continue going the wrong way because it hurts so much to go the right way.
You're right.
What I blame that's like I want to rage quit sometimes because imagine
the rage quit is crazy.
Imagine you playing a game and then you get to the boss and then you die.
You want to throw the controller?
Right, you got something.
All right, listen.
Like I'll be mad too.
No,
like
aside from video games, I broke a couple of TVs because of that, but we don't talk about that.
That's kind of crazy. Where
I broke some controllers.
Bro, take the
consoles.
I'm never breaking the TV. I will break the controller.
Yeah, it was an accident. I had a reflex.
The TV is crazy.
The TV
is
the
crazy.
system
I
is
threw my
crazy.
controller.
The controller at the time was $30. You know what I'm saying? Replacing
now it was about 80.
And
I threw controllers, chairs.
Chairs. Oh yeah, he was a certified bonafide crash out. Yeah, that's
D1 crash out.
Yeah.
That's why I went to therapy. I encourage that. Please go to therapy. But
oh yeah, actually, no. That's interesting. All right. We might shift gears a little bit here. Therapy.
Therapize.
Ooh, I think that therapy is a very important thing.
Indeed.
For not just some people, but for everyone.
Everyone.
Because prioritizing mental health is way more important than what people make it to be.
Right.
Like I feel like a lot of people don't really prioritize their mental health, which can lead to them not prioritizing their actual physical health. You know, if you think that you're some sort of fat slob or something, no offense to anybody, but that's just what you just gonna end up being. You know, it's like an unintentional manifestation. Like if that's what if that's how you feel, that's just what you become.
Hold on, wait. I just gotta say this. I just gotta say this one thing.
Go ahead, and then I have to.
You have to tag this, but I'm gonna say this. Listen, I know because I am this person. When you have people that want to come to you for therapy and help.
Preach.
When you are the therapy person, when you are the therapist of your friend group,
you're going to run somebody out of here.
I'm going to tell you this. You need to go to therapy too. Because do not try to burden everything yourself.
No. You are not the emotional dumpster.
You are not the therapist. Therapists need therapists.
I'm gonna be honest.
As an unlicensed therapist, you are a licensed therapist. And then that licensed therapist is going to have to go to another licensed therapist. So I'm going to say this to you. As the person that is the therapist in my group, to another therapist in that group. Listen, you are not alone.
No, you're not.
You have to learn to maintain and balance what comes your way, how you receive it, and how to get it out.
Now, before you say something, Stereotype,
I gotta come back to what you said though.
You gotta come.
I have to.
But real quick.
It's real quick.
I
think mine's quicker than yours.
No, this is even quicker.
I don't know.
This is even quicker. I promise.
Listen, I'm gonna lose it if I don't say it.
So. Go ahead, say it.
Listen, I gotta take a picture out of your worldview. I feel like, I gotta take a picture out of your worldview. Therapy. I feel like a lot of people give therapy a really bad name, but you gotta understand it's the way to understand what's going on in here. And as Prix would say, you can drive a real nice car, but if you know what's going on under your hood, you're screwed.
You know what?
I'm proud. He made a car reference. I'm so proud.
Listen, I'm flexible. So remember we talked about this.
I'm so proud.
Nah, but on some real shit though, to add on to what Griffey was saying, my dad once told me, you stuff like that, you tend to take on people's demons.
Yeah, you do.
And unintentionally and intentionally. So stuff like that.
I just want to be here for you.
Literally, it's always people's demons when they come to you. So make sure that you protect yourself when it comes to that. And as long as you're protected and you know how to keep yourself protected from that, just make sure that you can give the right advice.
I honestly want to speak on that real quick. I don't want to get too religious here, but agreed. You when you speak to people, you do take on their demons, which is why it's important that you pray that when you come in contact with these people, you are able to take what they're saying and give them advice, according to what's actually going on, but not to take in what they're dealing with. Because it is so easy, especially when you're someone who's an empath, when you are constantly talking to people who are going through life, it ends up ruining you too.
Yeah.
Naturally.
You're absolutely
and
right.
it goes back to what Griffey was saying. Therapists need therapists. You have to. The same way a barber needs a barber. You ain't cutting yourself. You're going to screw it up.
No, some barbers be cutting.
Yeah,
I
know some barbers that cut things off.
Listen, you do if you got mad mirror skills.
I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna tell you this. This is a shameless plug, but listen, if you ever in Philly or the surrounding areas and you need a dopest barber, go to Tori the Barber.
100%.
Yeah.
Shout out my guy.
You know what I'm saying? Tori the Barber. Look, you can go on Booksies and look at T's tapers. You know what I'm saying? If you want a serious, you know what I'm saying?
100%. But this has been another episode of Controversial Chronicles Podcast. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm C. Griffey.
Stereotype.
And with that being said, we appreciate you guys for all the love and support. Just keep it going for us, and we got you. Let us know what topics you would like to hear about going forward, and we'll get back with you. With that being said, make sure you have a good night.
And make sure you tell your cousin, uncle, grandpa, cousin, listen, monkey, fish, dog, and sister, mother, everybody.
Uncle.
With that being said, see ya.